Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing part 3 of my little book versus movie reading vlog series. Here's my poster. So far I've done 6 books, so I've had 2 other videos. And right now we have an even split between book versus movie with 3 in each category. And today we will be adding 3 more books to this poster. Let me introduce them to you. So we have Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This is a sci-fi book. Don't know much about it. I heard the movie was actually really good, so we'll see which one I think is better. I've had this forever on my TBR, so it is time to finally get to it. And then we also have Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. Yeah, this is a young adult book. It recently got an adaptation on Netflix. I think like last year or the year before last. I heard the adaptation actually wasn't good, so this one might be an obvious winner. I have read this book before, way back when I was in high school, but I'm excited to reread it and see if it holds up to how good I remember it being. And then finally, this is the most scary one. We have The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. This has had tons of adaptations, movie and TV show, but I'm gonna do the movie, and I think I'm gonna do the one specifically with Robert Downey Jr. I'm super nervous. This will be my first classic in like 5 years, so we'll see how this goes. I do have high hopes because it's like murder mysteries and I tend to like those. It's gonna be difficult though because this is a collection of short stories, so that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. Like, it could be good because it's short and fast paced, or it could be bad because I feel like the plot isn't really well developed, you know what I mean? But this is the one I'm gonna start with, which, if you're not aware of what Sherlock Holmes is or haven't seen anything about it, it is about Sherlock Holmes, who is a detective in like, I want to say 1800s England, and he's super smart, and he goes around solving murder mysteries. Maybe not murders. I know he solves a couple murders, but he goes around solving mysteries with his assistant, Dr. Watson, who I actually don't know who he is. Like, I can't remember. In the show Sherlock, which I have seen the show. I really liked it with Benedict Cumberbatch. Watson is ex-military. I don't know what he is in the actual books, but I really enjoyed the show, so I'm hoping that I enjoyed the book. My goal was to read 1 classic this year. I'd be totally okay if this was the 1 classic that I read. I'll start reading it so I can tell you a better synopsis of the characters and whatnot, and I'll do a little bit of research about this book because I can't remember if these were like originally published as short stories and like you got one once a week or once a month or whatever back in the day when this was written. I think that's how it went. I don't know. I'll let you know though. I'll look it up. But this is the first book we're starting with. I'm honestly so nervous, but I figured get the one that I'm like the most unsure about done with and over with, like the most difficult one done first, and then the rest of the video will be easy because I won't have this looming over my head. Alright, hello everyone. I did start Sherlock Holmes. I actually got like 14 pages in. However, I did do research like I said I would last time. And I love talking to you guys and being absolutely wrong about everything I say. It's so funny. So basically, what I researched, what I found out, is that there's an actual novel that came out, A Study in Scarlet, and then a second novel that came out, and then The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, which was released in like a 12-month-long magazine, like 1 story every month. And then there was like 2 more novels that came out and then a few, like 2 or 3 more short story collections. So yeah, I am starting not in the right like chronological order, which really, honestly, like really frustrates me. I hate being out of order when it comes to series or things of that nature, but it's fine. It is what it is. This collection itself, like The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, the 12 short story collection, is what made Sherlock Holmes so popular, and it really defines his character. And then I also looked up the movie that I was planning on comparing this to, and it's really, like, the movie isn't based on any specific story, it's more so the character. Doesn't make it a good candidate for this specific, like, book versus movie type video. No, but I'm already in too deep. And on top of that, this book only has 6 of the 12 original short stories, and then it has one of the full-length novels, but I think it's either the third or the fourth one. I don't know. It's definitely like, I'm very conflicted about what to do, but at the same time, I'm like, I really, really want to read this because I've had it on my shelves forever, and like this would be a huge accomplishment for me to read, especially because it is like a classic in that sense of things. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead with the plan to read this entire thing, and then if I enjoy it, then I would totally pick up the rest of the short stories and like the other novels. Since the movie is focused on like the characters of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, that's what I'm really focusing on in these books. That way like I know what to compare. You can tell that we're already supposed to have the lore of Sherlock and Watson because they mention the two other books, because this is told in first person point of view from Dr. Watson. In the original like story, Dr. Watson is an actual medical practitioner, an actual doctor, and where we're at, like where we start here, is that him and Sherlock had already worked together, but they kind of stopped working together because Watson got married and he returned to being a practicing doctor. But he happens to stop by Sherlock's house, and Sherlock is like, hey, I got this interesting case. Like, someone left this note for me. You should stick around because, like, we're about to meet up. And he sticks around and kind of gets re-involved with Sherlock and all that stuff. Sherlock's an interesting character, though. Like, I can imagine he is very, like, obnoxious, but it's, like, interesting, though. Like, because he knows everything. He's like, well, I'm just observing. Like, you're looking at things, I'm observing things. And I'm like, okay. At the same time, clearly it works for him. Clearly he's smart. He solves things. Like I said, I'm only 14 pages in though, but I wanted to give you an update about how hilariously wrong I was. I thought that I was like looking it up last night and I was like, wow, I'm embarrassed. I have to come talk to you guys and be like, yeah, I'm wrong. I'm a silly little wrong person. I don't know. I'm gonna get back to reading though. It was super rainy last night, which I thought really fit the vibe of this book, but now it's kind of sunny out, but there's storm clouds out and it looks like it's gonna start raining again, so it might be the perfect atmosphere, the perfect type vibes for this. Oh, also, I don't know if I told you guys, but I'm really concerned about like reading a classic and the writing style, but I've noticed that this one is really easy to read, and maybe because it was meant for a very wide public audience, that it's not super, I don't want to say pretentious, like that feels like the wrong word, you know, it's not super academic. It feels a lot easier and more accessible. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've had to look up a couple words every once in a while, but overall I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit, and I think this was a good book, like a good classic to start getting back into classics with, because like I said, the writing is a little bit easier to read than I thought it would be. Alright, hello. A little later in the day. I updated you guys earlier. I am now done with the 6 short stories, all of which are just like very quick little cases that Sherlock and Watson have worked on together. I enjoyed them. They were fun and actually a lot easier to read than I was expecting, but they're not like anything crazy. Most of them were 3 stars. I think the highest one I gave a 4-star, which was The Speckled Band, which is about a girl who goes to Sherlock because she suspects that something bad is about to happen to her, especially because 2 years prior her twin sister died. She's noticing that some of the same things that happened before her sister died are starting to happen to her. That one was actually pretty good, but for the other, literally almost all the other ones, I kind of figured it out. I felt like Sherlock, like I knew what was going on. So I'm done with all of those short stories, and now I'm onto the full-length novel, The Hound of the Baskervilles. This is like 220 pages, but I think I'm getting through it a lot quicker than I expected. I'm interested to see how the short stories compare to a more full-length novel type of story. Like, will it feel boring? Because these ones have felt like super quick and to the point and easy to read. I'm wondering if this one will be a little bit so to the point where I'm bored. Oh, also, while I'm reading, I'm listening to the movie soundtrack for the Sherlock Holmes movie that I'll be watching once I finish this book. Setting the vibe very well. Like, I feel very... Give me a tweed jacket and a little magnifying glass, and I'd be solving all these cases. Hello everyone. It's been a little bit later, but I finished this whole book, which, wow. I'm actually so proud of myself because this is the first classic I've read in a really long time, but I finished it. Then I watched the movie, which was, I think it's the 2009 movie with Robert Downey Jr. Let me start with final thoughts on the book. I ended up giving this, okay, well, I gave the 6 short stories I read 3 stars, and then I gave 4 stars to the novel that's at the very end of this. I feel like all the short stories were really predictable. Like, I guessed the ending in almost all of them. But the last one I really liked because it dealt with sort of like a supernatural kind of issue. And so like I did not guess what happened at the end, and I liked it. It's so tough because obviously this is like a pioneering type of book for the genre, but I feel like all the characters were just kind of one-dimensional. There was just like no character growth, you know? And I like to see my characters grow in books. And so yeah, that's why I gave it a 3 stars and a 4 stars. The movie, on the other hand, I really enjoyed. I thought it was so funny, and I think Robert Downey Jr. did a great job playing Sherlock. But I think my favorite things from the movie was how much of a personality Watson got, because I feel like in these, Watson's like, he's only there to tell the story. He doesn't really feel like a character. He just feels like the narrator, because he is the narrator. It doesn't feel like he has a role other than just telling Sherlock's stories. But I feel like in the movie, he had a personality that I really liked. And then another thing I really liked about the movie was the relationship between Watson and Sherlock. Like, I feel like they dive into it a lot more, especially because in the movie, and Watson, he's like dating a girl and he wants to propose to her and he's planning on moving out, and so there's some tension between him and Sherlock. I just really liked their character dynamics, their relationship, and I feel like that was definitely lacking in here, I guess. And I just happen to like the characters from the movie, I think, more than the book. I definitely am planning on watching the second movie, and I think I will pick up more of Sherlock Holmes. I think I want to pick up A Study in Scarlet, that's the name of it, right? And read that, because that novel is about how Sherlock and Watson meet, and I'm wondering if that will have more of the characters' like relationship with each other that I'm looking for. And then I really do want to read the other 6 short stories that this book didn't have from the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I will hopefully get to that eventually as well. So now we're going to be moving on to the next book in this video, which will be Love and Gelato. I read this book before. I really enjoyed it the first time I read it, but that was a really long time ago. I remember some main plot points, but I feel like I keep confusing myself with another young adult book, and so I'm not sure exactly what's the same and what's not. It looks like kind of thick, but oh my gosh, the font size is so big. So this should be a quick read, and I have already read it before, so again, it should be a quick read. I'm excited but like nervous for this because I don't want it to not be as good as I remember it being. I have a strong feeling that the book is gonna win in this case against the movie, because the movie came out and I heard nothing about it from literally anyone. The only reason I saw it was because I was like scrolling through Netflix and I was like, oh, Love and Gelato, like that's a book, right? And I had to watch the trailer to make sure it was like that I wasn't making it up, that it was based off a book. I don't know, hopefully it's good. I just haven't heard anyone talk about it. Have started Love and Gelato. I'm actually 156 pages in, so I thought I'd give it a little bit of an update, but first I'll tell you what this book is about. This book is about Lena, whose mom passes away from cancer, and so she moves to Italy to live with her dad. When she gets there, she realizes her mom has sent one of her old journals, like one of the mom's old journals, to Italy for Lena to have, and this journal is about her mom's time in Italy, and so Lena's like reading this journal of her mom's. I forgot how sad this book starts off, because Lena loses her mom like within the first couple chapters, and then she goes to Italy, and so like obviously she's struggling with the grief of losing her mom. I forgot how funny the main character is. This is a young adult romance, and you can definitely like feel her teenage sarcasm, like just her teenage annoyance with everybody and everything. I think it's really funny. I'm really enjoying it so far. Of course, like I said, I read it before and I really enjoyed it, and like this is definitely not disappointing. I almost feel like I'm reading this again for the first time, but not really, because I know the major plot points obviously, but like there's some things where I'm just like, Oh, I forgot about that. It's really cute though, and I'm really enjoying it. Just the setting is so well done here because she's exploring it for the first time, and it kind of gives me a similar vibe to Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. Anna's like an American girl living in France, like Paris, France, and Lena is an American girl living in Florence, Italy. So it kind of has like the same vibe of a teenager exploring the world for the first time, and I'm really enjoying that, like especially as someone who doesn't do a lot of traveling, especially like not out of the country. So it's just really cool to see. It's actually making me really excited to watch the movie, even though I haven't really heard anything about the movie. Like I'm just really hoping there's some parts from the book that make it into the movie, and I think that just be like there's just a lot of funny and cute moments that I really hope are in the movie. Hello, I'm going to give a little bit of an update on Love and Gelato because I finished the book last night and then I watched the movie. Like as I was reading the last page, my boyfriend put on the movie. Book, amazing, great, love it. Love the vibes, love the characters. There's like obviously like a more emotional side to it because she does lose her mom, but it's such a good time, this book. Like it was reading it was so fun. I think there was a certain like bit of nostalgia that went into it because I enjoyed it so much when I was younger and it brought me back to those times, I suppose. But yeah, it was super fun, super quick read too. Like it's, I think it's almost at 400 pages and I got through it really quickly. I think we see so much like character growth in Lena in this book. Like she kind of lost herself while she was dealing with that whole situation with her mom, and then now she finally does have the chance to find herself, and she does so like with her mom but not with her mom, like through her mom's words, which I just think is really beautiful. The movie on the other hand, I want to say like within 10 minutes I was like, oh, this is bad. And like I'm trying so hard to separate the movie from the book and like give the movie a fair chance on its own. It feels to me like they just read the synopsis on the back and was like, oh, we totally got this, and didn't even read the book because what is going on? Like I don't want to say they mess it up, but they totally like throw the plot all out of whack. I'm trying to like kind of separate the book and the movie. You know, maybe let's just judge it based off the characters. What did they do to my characters? Like what is happening? Like Howard, I feel like does not get enough justice in the movie. He is such a great father figure in the book, and I feel like we totally miss out on that in the movie. All of Lorenzo, like I think my biggest issue with it is that they're trying to give us this love story, which is kind of like a love triangle. They try to make it a love triangle, which never is really a thing in this book, just to be clear. So they make this love triangle out of nowhere, and then she's supposed to choose Lorenzo at the end of the movie. Well, she chooses herself, and then a year later, her and Lorenzo like meet up again, but that's a whole nother thing. But I just feel like no chemistry with Lorenzo because we don't get to see him on the screen at all. Because in this book, he is helping her find out who her father is. He's taking her around Italy, showing her around, showing her all of her mother's favorite places. That doesn't happen at all in the movie. So by the end of this movie, when like we're supposed to believe that they're like meant to be, but there's no chemistry because we haven't seen them together very often throughout the movie. Like she has more chemistry with this other part of the love triangle, Alessandro, that they completely made up. Anyways, I just feel like they really failed to develop some of these relationships that we see in this book. Like even her relationship with her mom, I feel like we totally miss out on. But I don't know, it was just so frustrating. I definitely am very disappointed with the movie, I guess. Like the book to movie adaptation itself, very rough. I feel like even the movie itself, like if it weren't based off this book, just it being the movie alone, wasn't very good. Halfway through the movie, I was like, I don't even know if I want to finish this because I don't feel anything for any of these characters. But that means we are on to the very last book for this video, which is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This one, I feel like I've heard more about the movie than the book. I don't know. I just know that it has like a lot of virtual reality going on, which I have read sci-fi like that before. I've read The Mortality Doctrine by James Dashner, which I enjoyed. I'm so intimidated and I don't really know why. Like, it's not a huge book. It's not super like thick. The font's a little bit tiny, but I can get over that. Actually, the font's really tiny. Maybe I can't get over that. started Ready Player One. So let me tell you what this book is about. Basically, Wade is a high schooler who is living in poverty. He escapes every single day into this virtual world, which is called the Oasis, basically. It's kind of like VR, and he goes to school in it. He spends like pretty much all of his time there because the guy who created the Oasis, when he passed away, he put in his will that the person who inherits literally everything he owns, millions, billions, I think, has to play this game basically and solve this puzzle. I'm not explaining this well. Wade is trying to solve this dude's puzzle to win the prize. No one has made progress on this game. I think it's like 5 years since the guy had passed away. No one has figured out the first clue, has solved it until Wade, when he actually solves the clue, which basically puts him in a sticky situation because now all these other players, they're called gunters, by the way. I can't. It's like a word that makes me uncomfortable. Anyways, all the other gunters are literally like willing to kill him for the key. So I'm not explaining it well. I'm so sorry. I apologize. My brain isn't working. I'm 8 chapters in. I'm about to start the 9th chapter. I enjoy the writing. I think the narrator is pretty funny. Wade is the narrator. I also really enjoy it. Like, there's a lot of references to the 80s because the guy who made the Oasis, the game maker, he was like a teenager in the 80s. He grew up in the 80s. So he has like a lot of 80s references, like pop culture references in the game. So this dude, Wade, studied the whole decade in order to like help solve the clues basically. And so I really enjoy all those references. I was really excited when I found out that there would be this game and like clues to solve because I think that really drives a plot for me. Like that's one of my favorite plots because I like trying to solve the clues myself. The inheritance games and the naturals kind of have the similar vibe where you're like trying to solve clues. And I really enjoy those. I really was looking forward to that aspect of this book once I found out that that was even a thing. But I feel like it's just moving so slow. Like, we didn't get to the actual first clue until I want to say 2 chapters ago, which is fine because they're trying to set up all this backstory about like how the world works now and how it got that way and how this Oasis guy created the Oasis and became a billionaire. Like, I understand that we're trying to establish the world and there was a lot of world building happening, but I was like, let's get to the game. Let's get to the point. You know what I mean? So it was just moving a little slow for me, but that's fine. Then when we did get to the first clue, I don't want to say like I solved it right away, but I immediately was like, it's obviously this. And then a chapter later, he's like, and then I discovered, I had this like sudden realization that it's this. And I'm like, I could have told you that. I knew that a chapter ago. Like, what do you mean? I feel like I'm doing a terrible job explaining to you how I'm feeling, but basically I'm enjoying it. I just feel like it's moving a little slow. But I feel like this has a high likelihood of being better than the movie because there's so much detail going into this book. Here's the thing. So yeah, there's so much detail going into this book. Like, I don't see how they could fit it all into the movie. However, I am a person who really struggles with visualizing things in my head. So being able to visualize like the game happening would probably be better in a movie. So I'm actually curious to see which one I think is better, but right now I'm predicting that the book will probably be better. So I need to give an update on Ready Player One because I have 100 pages left. I'm on level 3, like part 3, but it's called level 3 because video games. So yeah, I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update before I go ahead and finish this book. I am so conflicted over this book because I think the concept in itself is so interesting. The whole hunt for these clues to get the keys, to get the prize, like all that, super interesting to me. I feel like we spend so much time not focused on that. When the main character finds the first key, he gets a whole bunch of public attention because no one's done that before. And then he gets a whole bunch of money because he does like brand deals, I guess, kind of. For the next part of the book, I feel like we focus so much on him using his money, you know, like he buys a lot of stuff, both in the virtual world and in the real world, and we get so much description around all the things he's acquiring and whatnot and all this new tech that he's buying, and we lose sight of the actual point of the whole story, which is finding these keys. It feels wrong to say, but like I don't care about anything outside of that. You know, I don't know if it's like the narration style, but it feels like we just spend so much time focusing on not the game, not the contest. And for me, like, since the contest is the most interesting part, I wish we had more time with that stuff. So I feel like we're spending so much time talking about stuff I don't care about and not enough time talking about the stuff I care about. So yeah, I'm really struggling with that and quickly realizing like the main character's really annoying me. But my biggest takeaway from this, I don't know if you've seen the movie Pixels with Adam Sandler, where he basically, like, there's an alien invasion and in order to like defeat the aliens, they have to play 80s video games. I'm getting the same exact vibes. It feels the exact same. Like, they're talking about Galaga and a whole bunch of different games that are mentioned in the movie. I just think back to what happens in the movie every time I'm reading this book. So I'm really interested to see how like that will affect my watching of this movie, like comparing the two movies in my head, I guess. I don't know. I think my biggest issue with this whole thing is that Wade found the first key when he didn't have any money, didn't have all this extra tech stuff. Like, he wasn't a high level player. He didn't have magic things like this and this and that. And now it feels like he needs those things to get the other keys. I feel like the guy who created this whole contest wouldn't have required that. Like, he seems like the kind of guy, based off of what I've read, that he wanted to make this challenge accessible to everyone. Wouldn't have made it so you need all these crazy tech and spells and magic and everything to achieve the challenge. And I feel like we're spending so much time talking about this stuff, I just don't see it being useful. I feel like I'm being hypercritical of it. It's been a while since I updated this vlog, but as you saw, I did finish Ready Player One and I watched the movie. So Ready Player One, I want to say this was like a 4-star read. It was really engaging. Like, I really liked the plot that we had going. The concept was really fun for me. I just felt like the main character really frustrated me. But the ending of this book was so sweet and adorable, and I absolutely loved the ending. So I do plan on picking up the second book, Ready Player Two. I don't know when, but eventually I would like to pick it up. But this book made me so excited to watch the movie because I was really excited to see what they did with the virtual reality, gaming, the Oasis stuff. And I don't want to say I was disappointed by the movie. I just didn't really like it as much as the book, which as a reader, you expect that going into a movie. I think they did a really great job with the movie, don't get me wrong. Like, the way they portrayed the Oasis was really cool. The characters were funny, a little cringy, but funny. And I think the movie was very well made. The issue is there's just so much going on in this book. I'm sure they tried to fit it all into the movie and it just struggled to fit everything in. And I feel like we flew past a lot of stuff, a lot of character development or development of the plot. I think my biggest issue with the movie is that it doesn't fall back on these 80s references as heavy as the book does. Like, the whole point of the book and the Easter egg hunt in the book is that you have to know 80s lore, 80s pop culture, all that stuff. You have to know it. I feel like it's probably an issue of them not being able to access all the rights to some of those things. So in the movie, we miss out on a lot of those 80s references, which makes me kind of sad. So yeah, I would say the book's better than the movie. I liked the the main character's annoying in both, but I do like him a little bit better in the book. I like all the other characters better in the book. I really think that the Easter egg hunt was done better in the book. I would say book's better than the movie. So yeah, we'll do a little bit of a wrap up of all the books that I read in this video, and I will put their covers up on which side I think they belong. We started with The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. This wasn't a bad read, okay? I enjoyed it. I had fun. The only issue was that I felt a little bit bored at times because I was guessing what was going to happen, whatever plot twist they try to have, or whoever was the killer. I knew who it was, you know? And I think that's just probably a product of this being a classic and so many mysteries using this as inspiration. I did really enjoy it, and the movie I really enjoyed. I think the movie was so well done. I love Robert Downey Jr. as is, so it was really great seeing him play Sherlock. I thought he brought a lot of life to that character. Really, I think one of my favorite parts of this movie was Watson. I feel like in the book, Watson is such a one-dimensional character, but in the movie, he actually is like fleshed out, you know? And their relationship in the movie, like Sherlock and Watson's relationship in the movie, was so funny, so cute and adorable. I loved it. I really do think the movie is better. So we're gonna put this on up to the movie side. Next, I read Love and Gelato. This is I want to say like a young adult coming of age sort of romance book. I love the book. I've read it before. It was a reread. It was really nostalgic for me. Lorenzo in this book, I love him. I have never been so disappointed in a movie adaptation. I felt like they really messed with a lot of the characters. I feel like we didn't get as much character development. And even if I were like setting the book aside, I don't think I would have liked the movie. It was really cringy. The love triangle they made was just really unnecessary. I didn't feel anything for any of the characters. So unfortunately for the movie, the book is way better and I highly recommend. So we're gonna put this cover up on the book side. And then finally, for the last book of today's video, Ready Player One. I've just rambled on a lot about my opinions on this book, so I will just leave it with the movie was good, don't get me wrong, the book just did better. And if you are looking for like a book chock full of 80s references, please pick this up. It was amazing. I loved the 80s references. The main character is the only thing that detracted from this book, honestly. As I said, movie was great, book was better, so it's going on to the book side. So that is all the books I read in today's video. Looking at the board now, we clearly have one side winning more than the other. Books are definitely dominating over the movies. However, I honestly feel like there's a lot more movie adaptations that I've liked better than the books. Like, I never thought I would say that, but there are quite a few that I've really enjoyed. I really love this experiment because I love books, I love movies. So getting to explore two subjects that I really love in one video is something that is really fun for me. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with some of my decisions here on this board. Let me know what your favorite book to movie adaptation is, and maybe I'll check that out in the next video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you all so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!